My name's Aiden Sherrell, and you're watching Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR.
The mix of salty sea air and burnt rubber. The big skies, high banks, and grandstands. The rumble in your chest. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. Honoring history and making it. At the biggest race of the year on the biggest stage of a lifetime. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you on this Thursday afternoon as we've had a busy week so far in Alabama athletics, and the weekend's going to get even busier. So it's perfect time to catch up on what's coming up on the program for today. Thanks to our friends RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. They sponsor our headlines, plus what's coming up on the show this afternoon. First things first, we'll visit with Aiden Sherrell of the Crimson Tide men's basketball team in an interview recorded at our podcast studio inside the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center at Saban Field. Great conversation about how his season is going, impacting Alabama basketball this year. Then we'll talk with a former Alabama gymnast and now an SEC Network analyst, Luisa Blanco. She'll preview what's coming up on Friday night for Alabama against Oregon State at Coleman Coliseum and give us a look at what's happened so far this season for the Crimson Tide, currently ranked third in the country. And then we'll visit with the head coach of the Crimson Tide women's basketball team, Kristy Curry, to get a preview of Alabama's Thursday night game against Georgia. And then we look back to Tuesday night with men's basketball, our booth cam highlights with Chris Stewart and Brian Passink, talking about Alabama men's basketball's win against the Missouri Tigers. Speaking of men's basketball, as we get into our headlines, it was a fun win for Alabama, winning 90-64 against Missouri. Nate Oates probably likes the 64 number just as much as he likes 90. Really great defense. That was a point of emphasis all throughout the week. But you know the Crimson Tide are going to play dynamic offense, and Latrell Wrightsell Jr. certainly was at the top of the list with 21 points in that win for Alabama. Good victory for the Crimson Tide. Alabama back over 500 in SEC play at 4-3, 14-6 overall, and now taking on the defending national champion, Florida Gators. It's a very rare Sunday afternoon game in men's basketball, and tip-off will be at noon from Gainesville. Our coverage will start at 11 a.m. all across the network. To women's basketball, Alabama hitting the road coming up this weekend. First of all, to take on the Georgia Lady Bulldogs tonight in Athens. The tip-off will be at 5:30. Our coverage will start at 5:15 across the network. Alabama ranked in the top 25 poll at number 24 after the win on Sunday against Mississippi State. And then it'll be a huge ranked matchup, top 25 matchup at LSU on Sunday. 10:45 will be our airtime for that 11 a.m. tip-off from the Maravich Assembly Center. To gymnastics and everything else going on around Crimson Tide athletics. Gymnastics on Friday night taking on the Oregon State Beavers at 6:30. That's a top 25 matchup that Luisa Blanco will break down coming up in a few moments. Also, some sad news that we learned on Tuesday that Eddie Conyers, a longtime Alabama football practice referee, he passed away at the age of 97. Many years getting to serve as a practice referee going back to the Bryant era all the way through the DeBoer era. So many great memories for Alabama players, staffers with Eddie Conyers throughout the year. It was always so pleasant, always so kind to be around anytime I went to an Alabama football practice, and he was somebody, along with his wife, truly loved Crimson Tide football and the University of Alabama. He will certainly be missed by all of us as we mourn his passing this week. Some good news for two student athletes from the Southeastern Conference. First of all, congratulations to Caitlin Adele being named the Track and Field Athlete of the Week, along with Tessa Gill from Alabama Swimming and Diving named the SEC Freshman of the Week. Great honors for both of those young ladies. Now we turn our attention to men's basketball to begin the show, and as we visit with Aiden Sherrell, talking about what's been a tremendous season for him so far this year as a sophomore. He recounts his basketball journey here to Tuscaloosa as he joins us on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Roger Hoover. Now please be joined at the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center in our podcast studio by Aiden Sherrell, the Crimson Tide men's basketball team, an outstanding forward for Alabama this year. And Aiden, Roll Tide, how have you enjoyed your sophomore season here at the Capstone?
I'm enjoying it a lot for sure. I had to come and take a big role, and it's been working out pretty well for me. So I'm enjoying it a lot.
Well, we've been glad to see you healthy and playing for Alabama. Has it been kind of weird this season with all the different lineups we've seen? Players been in and out of the starting lineup, including you a couple times. But now that this team is finally getting healthier, how much better can it be?
It's been like kind of challenging to get used to, but like Oates prepares us for like whatever we have to do to win. So we've been able to adapt pretty smoothly.
You really have. And again, you've had to miss a couple times this season for Alabama, but how has Clark Holter, the training staff, really gotten you back on the floor?
Clark does an amazing job. He like as soon as we have a problem, we immediately in the training room trying to work our way back into the rotation and everything. So he does an amazing job.
He really does. So again, we're excited about what's ahead for this group this season. Just what do you feel like this team is capable of when you look at the rest of the year?
This team is capable of so much. Like obviously our goal is to win whatever there is to win, and so as a team we're so versatile. We're so like deep in every position. So we're capable of so much.
You really are, and it starts with you in a lot of ways blocking shots for the Crimson Tide. We've seen those numbers go way up so far this season. What's led to success getting all these blocks?
Definitely Oates challenging me for sure. Like during the summer, he was like, we need a rim protector, so I had to lock in and just take that role.
That's good. Anything individual you've worked on? Did you have to change your body at all in any ways to be more effective there?
Like obviously over the summer, I did like slim down for sure, but like I've been in with the GAs and managers. They've been getting a lot of work in, so it's just been a lot of hard work. That's pretty much it.
Got a great coaching staff led by Nate Oates, obviously all the assistants as well. But how about a guy like Erwin Dudley? What does he mean to get to have him around this program?
He means a lot for sure. He works with the big guys a lot, and he like seeing that he like succeeded at this level. It means a lot for sure, and like he implements so much knowledge into us. Just being able to like give us tips and tricks to go out there and impact the game on the floor.
Obviously, you'd love anybody like that has the resume he does, but the fact that this is his school, he's an Alabama guy, how much more does that mean?
That means even more because he's giving back for sure. He gave it his all when he played, so now he's giving us his all, so it means a lot.
It's helping you play at a high level, your teammates play at a high level. What's it like when you get to see LeBaron Philon kind of in a zone like he's been in several times this year, getting upwards of 30, 32 points?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch that. Like Mudita is like a big thing of us. Like man, I'm happy. Like when he does that, I'm happy. Like I did it. So yeah, it's amazing to watch, and we're all used to it because he does it in practice every day, and he's shown he does it night in, night out.
Yeah, not only your blocks up, but your assists are up as well because you're finding him, you're finding Amari Allen, Aiden Holloway as well from beyond the arc. I mean, sharing the basketball is important, even though you guys play as fast as you can, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Gotta create for my teammates for sure. That's a big part of my job.
How have you seen these young guys adjust to playing college basketball?
Oh, they adjusted smoothly for sure. Especially like Amari and London, they've been adjusting very smoothly. Like I knew from the jump, like since our first practice, that those guys they were ready to go.
A little competition now for the hard hat.
Yeah,
Makes it even tougher, right?
Yeah.
How much do you guys love those celebrations in the locker room when you give out the hard hat?
No, we like them a lot for sure. It just shows our culture. Like we all like it's a family environment. We love rooting for each other, so it shows our culture.
It really does. So that's where we are now with Alabama. Let's go back to the beginning of your journey. You're from where? Detroit, Michigan?
Yep. Yeah, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Yep.
What got you into the sport?
Definitely my brothers. My brothers play basketball, and growing up, like see them play and succeed at their levels. It influenced me a lot, and I've always like loved the game of basketball like since I picked it up. So,
when did you have your biggest growth spurt?
I would say like my 7th to 8th grade year. Yeah, I went from like 6'4" to like 6'8". So it was a crazy change.
Some fun class pictures, and then were you starting to play against more high school players then? When you
for sure. Yeah, I was playing against my brother's like high school team while I was in like 7th grade. I was helping them out in practice and everything. So.
Were you mostly a guard when you were like 6'4", kind of in that range, or?
Yeah. I was like a forward, like a wing. But I've always like with my brother, I've always worked on guard things, so that stuff is like pretty natural to me.
And that's why now Alabama
Yeah.
fans have confidence when you
Yep.
release three-pointers, stuff like that.
For sure,
And
yeah.
take the ball up the floor. You got to like that every now and then. Well, that's really good. You mentioned Detroit area. Did you know about Romulus High School and Nate Oates when you were a younger guy?
Yeah, I know about it when he was recruiting me for sure. But I wasn't aware until he told me. But it's crazy. Like, it's a small world. I never knew that.
That's really cool. And you mentioned recruiting. What made Alabama stand out during that recruiting process?
Definitely the play style, and like it's an NBA play style, and at the end of the day, that's where I want to be, and just the, like how much they care about their players and everything. So, and I'm a guy who's very versatile, and that I could shoot threes. I could do a lot, and here I'm able to showcase that.
Did you keep up with a lot of those Alabama teams while you're being recruited?
Oh
Become
yeah,
fans
definitely.
of their style play, watching.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I was going here for a while, so I was watching a lot of their games.
So you're living and dying in the
Yeah.
NCAA tournament like we were, right?
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. Then you get to come here and be a part of this team last year. What was that transition like going to college basketball for the first time?
The transition, it was at first, like the first few practices, it was hard because how fast we played and our pace. But as I started to get comfortable, it was pretty smooth. And like every day in practice, I was competing against those guys, and like especially Cliff, like he was helping me get better throughout the whole year.
Yeah, what'd you enjoy most about playing with him?
Definitely like the battles in practice for sure. Like Cliff made me a lot much better. He blocked a lot of shots, so I had to work on like getting more crafty in the post and like on the perimeter and everything, being able to create on the perimeter.
Were you able to get some blocks on him?
Yeah, I actually was, yeah, but I don't think it was a lot.
And then how about a guy like Grant Nelson, who also fits in the
Yeah.
mold of style of play you do? He can do some guard
Yeah.
things, but he can also be really tough in the paint.
Yeah, no, definitely. Guarding Grant and playing against Grant, it was helping me become a better player too. Like seeing him succeed at that level, it like really inspired me for sure. And he was always like in my ear, like giving me tips and everything. So yeah, it was a lot coming from him.
That's really special. And you mentioned the summertime, you kind of challenged by Nate on a few things
Yeah.
about getting your blocks, stuff like that. How else do you feel like you use the summer and then the fall to get better and get ready for this year?
Definitely like just like implementing like game movements in my like workouts and everything. Like like throughout the summer, I was just in the gym daily, just working on like what I can do to impact the game and whatever way I can. So.
That's really good. Again, you play for Nate Oates, but there are also some great assistant coaches along with that, Preston Murphy, and then Coach Adams on the defensive end. How much has he helped this defense?
He helped his defense so much. Coach Adams, he's on us a lot. Like sometimes we disappoint him, and it hurts me like when we disappoint him. But like he's been on us a lot, and he gives us great game plans, and we just got to go out there and execute them better.
And then how about Coach Fleming and you mentioned the NBA,
Yeah.
that pro-style mindset that he brings to this place.
Yeah, no, definitely. Coach Fleming, he has a lot of belief in us for sure, and him like coaching NBA players, like, and him being able to to give us like tips from the NBA, and him being able to sometimes he has like comparisons of us to some NBA players he's seen. So like just hearing that from him, it means a lot.
Anybody in particular he's compared you to?
A lot of times he said like when I attack, like it looks like Karl Anthony Towns. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah.
That definitely works. And then this year's been kind of unique as well. You've gotten to play against now some former teammates. Bo Diabate with Kentucky. I know you know Darion Reed for a long time.
Yeah.
How different was that experience?
It was pretty different. It was good seeing those guys, competing against those guys. Darion was my roommate last year, so we got a lot of history, and he had a pretty good game against us. So it was fun competing out there against them.
It really was. It's a hard-fought game for Alabama to get that win against
Yeah.
Oklahoma. And what do you enjoy about competing night in, night out in the SEC? We've seen this conference just go to one of the best, if not the best, in the last few years.
It's great. Like we're competing against the best of the best, and it's only going to make us get better and prepare us for March for sure.
What should we know about you away from the floor? What do you like to do?
I'm like I'm into like video games and like fashion. I'm pretty much I'm a simple guy. Just video games and fashion, nothing much.
What video game takes up your most time?
Right now I'll say Call of Duty. I play a little bit of Warzone, but I play like all types of genres of games. Shoot, I play like Elden Ring. Play 2K. It doesn't matter.
That's good. And then you mentioned fashion. What's kind of your interest there? Like,
Just like being able to express yourself through like clothing. That's pretty much it. Yeah, like when you got swag, it feels good.
it definitely does. Well, Aiden Sherrell, you've had a lot of swag playing for the Crimson Tide this season. Just thank you for your time. We look forward to watching you the rest of the year. But again, appreciate your time in here with us today. Roll Tide.
Appreciate you. Roll Tide.
Fans, here's our next episode of Seat to Shine presented by SeatGeek as we highlight Alabama Gymnastics.
Ooh, my hidden talent is that I can juggle. Sometimes I'll juggle rolls of tape just for fun in here. I shouldn't have said that. See, I told you I could juggle. I started gymnastics when I was 4. I played all kinds of sports growing up. I was very competitive, very athletic, but ultimately I decided to stick with gymnastics for the rest of my athletic career. The first time I got to come to Alabama was a dream come true. Stepping inside Coleman, stepping inside the stadium, I could really just picture my future here. My biggest moment at Alabama was last year at regionals. We were at home and I needed a 9.925 to clinch us a spot at nationals, and I ended up getting it, and we had the chance to go back and compete for a national championship in Fort Worth. My why is my family. They sacrificed so much for me to chase my dreams and be here, and I'm so grateful. There's no me without them. I always love being able to look up and see my parents. They're in the corner by vault, about 5 rows up. The best seat in Coleman Coliseum is definitely the student section. The student section is so hype. They give us all the energy we need to finish a good meet. Shout out to them. My biggest pet peeve is people that walk slow in airports or that interrupt people. Can't stand it. My dream vacation is anywhere in the Maldives, and I'd love to go scuba diving. I need to get my certification. My advice to a young gymnast is always believe in the power of your dreams. No dream is ever too big. As long as you believe in yourself, you surround yourself with good people, anything is possible.
Always love our Seat to Shine feature. Thanks to our friends at SeatGeek as we're focusing in on Alabama gymnastics. And now we get to visit with Luisa Blanco. I can't wait to team up with her on the SEC Network on Friday for Alabama against Oregon State. She was on the call last week as well for Alabama's win against Missouri. And the former Crimson Tide Gyms joins us now to break down everything going on with Alabama gymnastics. Luisa, it's great to see you. How's everything going as we get set for Friday night?
Amazing. I'm pumped. This time of year is always exciting for me. Now that we've hung up the grips and the glitz and the glam with the leotards, life has definitely slowed down, but in the best way. I'm back home in Dallas, Texas, close to my family, and yeah, just really embraced this new chapter, everything that it's, given me, and I get to be a part of the sport that I love, just in a different, way, and I'm pumped up for this weekend, so all is well over here. Thank you for asking.
That's certainly good. Well, you and Gray Robertson had the call this past week for Alabama against Missouri. Just tell us what it was like coming back to Tuscaloosa and getting to see Ashley Johnston's team in person for the first time this year.
I mean, it just feels like a hug from your best friend, and I will always love Tuscaloosa. It's this like nostalgic feeling. I will say, people ask me, "Oh, do you want to be back out there?" And I'm like, "No, I am great where I am right now." It's all about the athletes, and so exciting to see all these fresh new faces with the way that they've impacted the Crimson Tide team. But just talking a little bit on last weekend, it was a great SEC matchup. Both teams came in with wanting the win, and they were hungry for it. Alabama obviously, ended up getting the job done there, and it was an honor to call that meet. But yeah, super exciting stuff that's happening with the SEC, just with the, induction of Oklahoma. It just makes everything just that much more competitive, and it really does mean more.
And then the Crimson Tide picked up the win against Missouri. 197-5 was Alabama's final score, a highest we've seen for the Crimson Tide this year. Just how have you seen this group kind of build week to week towards these great scores?
I think I talked about it before, but they are just rewriting the script and rewriting their standards. I was talking with head coach Ashley Johnston, and not only was I her athlete, but just seeing her shift this program and still hold the tradition of what Alabama gymnastics has been incredible. She says that she's a fourth year senior with the senior class coming in, and she couldn't be more happier to see how they've been able to just elevate the standard week after week. But she really credits the buy-in of the freshmen. Not only are they pushing all the members of the team with their talent and their greatness and their hunger to just want to exceed their own expectations. But I just think that curiosity of not knowing what you know and this being your first time out there is really inspiring to the rest of the team. And I think it's shown on the competition floor. They've, up to this point, has just gotten better and better. They set a program high with their first meet, from the get-go and haven't looked back since.
Yeah, and speaking of the freshmen, who has really impressed you among the newcomers competing for Alabama this year?
I mean, it goes without saying, but as Ayara Akbar, I remember just a couple years back, nobody really knew of her because she had been dealing with injury, has had a lot of resilience coming back from career-ending, like lower extremity injuries. So when we saw her, funny enough, at the Alabama camp just a couple years ago, it was just her polish and her poise, and you could tell she wasn't there to show off. She was just genuinely happy to be there. She's this kid from Canada, and her dad is also her coach. So they drive every time they come to Tuscaloosa, which is just a feat in itself. I think it's a 15 plus hour drive, but yeah, from that moment, I just knew that the kid was special, and I've just been so impressed doesn't even do it. Just because I was one to come in early, and she did it as well. She graduated high school early to be a part of this team and just made an impact from the start. Her poise and her execution are unparalleled. Her technique is gorgeous. She's a breath of fresh air to watch. But yeah, I just can't believe we get, 4 years of this with her. So just praying for good health and lucky that we have a star on our team.
Certainly do among the freshman class. And then one of your former teammates is now really shining in the all around for Alabama in Gabby Gladio. What do you see from her this season as she continues what's been a tremendous career at Alabama?
Gabby Gladio has seen it all. She truly has. I think the biggest thing with Gabby is her growth this year in her leadership. She's always had that competitive edge from the get-go, and now it is learning how she can pour into her teammates, which I have been the most impressed with. So continuing just her downright determination to win every single time and mixing that with making it bigger than herself. It's just a perfect combination to not only set her up for the rest of the year, but set her up so that she can look back on her senior year and know that she left her legacy at the University of Alabama.
She's certainly doing that. So once again, it's a top 25 matchup for the Crimson Tide coming up on Friday night. What are you looking for from this Alabama team as they continue trying getting even better scores, maybe introducing some new skills as well?
I think the Crimson Tide has done a really great job of embracing every week with what it has. I'm really looking forward to seeing just the consistency. I think the newness of the competition season has worn off. We're going into week 4, and this is where bodies start to hurt, reality sets in. And it's great that they're at a home setting and they've been at home for the past 2 weeks, but they really need to find their another motivation and continue to consistently improve. I think this will be a great test for them because they weren't perfect last week and they were able to put a great score. So it will show them just how good they are if they're able to put it all together this week at home.
We're celebrating a milestone. It's been 30 years since the 1996 national championship team led by Coach Patterson. Just for you as a gymnast, how meaningful was it to interact with so many different former Alabama gymnasts who were national champions like that group we'll get to celebrate? And how much does it kind of show off the Bama style atmosphere that really is in Tuscaloosa?
I mean, tradition is just embedded from, how we show up to practice and just seeing every time I've been able to connect with alum just beyond the years. We always make an event to where they can come back in the gym, and even if they want to throw some flips, they can. It doesn't matter. We're all welcome here. So I think the embrace of the alumni and just always having that tradition glue us together, regardless of what era, what generation you are. Being an Alabama gymnast at its core is always going to be the same. And I think being able to replicate it year after year, despite having so many changes in coaching staff, just that tradition of, where legends are made has never faltered. And yeah, it gives me chills thinking about it. And the more time that passes from, whenever I was out there in Coleman, just savoring those moments under the big bright lights, I just continue to hopefully be somebody that, the future generations can lean on, I can help in any way. And it's just so cool to look back on and know that I was a small piece of this incredible legacy program.
Oh, you've been a great piece of this incredible program throughout the years. Luisa, I can't wait to team up with you on not just the SEC network on Friday, but then I'll take all the pictures of all the fans lining up to visit with you coming up on Friday as well.
Oh,
Just
you're too
thank you for
kind.
your time, and we look forward to seeing you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I can't wait.
Hey guys, this is Jalen Moreau, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
This isn't just a race, it's the race. 500 miles of glory, a million memories, one place. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Tonight, it's Alabama in Athens, Georgia to take on the Georgia Lady Bulldogs, and we're joined now by the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kristy Curry, for a full preview of what she has seen from her team, especially looking back at that win against Mississippi State and what we can expect tonight in Athens. Coach, it's good to see you. I know we're excited for this matchup in Athens, but first have to take a step back and look back at Sunday's win against Mississippi State. What made that a great day for your basketball team?
We just had great balance. It was certainly a game of runs, many lead possessions, many changes of the lead throughout the course of the game. And I just love the grit and toughness our players showed to make plays when it mattered most. We made some big shots, got some critical turnovers, that we were able to create. And it's one of those games where it comes down to possessions in this league. And sometimes it's only one possession. And I think our team really showed some progress from the Tennessee Auburn game headed into Mississippi State. We got to continue to grow and get better.
Great scoring in that game. First of all, from Jessica Timmons, career high 28 points. So, what do you see in her when she's in a scoring mode like that and able to knock down so many shots?
Yeah, I thought Coach Kelly did a really nice job of getting her involved early in the third quarter. She only had one shot in the first quarter. We as a staff have to continue to work to put her in a position, to create some driving lanes. But I thought she did a really nice job of making herself available. The biggest thing is getting to the free throw line. She's 11-11 from the free throw line. So anytime that you can come out and attack and be aggressive and, make good choices on your counter moves, I think her ability to get to the free throw line and convert is something that we're going to continue to need from her.
Of course, Essence Cody made her return to the floor last game as well. Just how meaningful is it to have her back able to contribute to this team?
Awesome, and glad she's getting healthy. It's a process. You don't miss 18 days and automatically jump back into a game and be in game mode. So, it's about taking it, a few minutes at a time here and there and continue to put her in a situation in practice. She continues to get healthier with each day, and it's a process. So a lot of positivity and a lot of patience, and know that she's going to get back to her true form here before we know it.
And great form right now by Naomi Jones, playing along with Essence Cody. 6 blocks in that game. What are you seeing from her as she's able to block so many shots?
Yeah, Naomi has just been outstanding, really a great response, in the Tennessee and Mississippi State game. I think that, she continues to get more comfortable. It would be great having both of them, at a high level. I think together they're quite the tandem. I've said this all along. We haven't been able to because of injury, but love to have them on the floor some together as we continue to move into February if we can stay healthy and continue to do some things that was the plan initially. So, but Naomi's just brought great energy and effort, and when you bring energy and effort, good things are going to happen.
And then lastly, talking about some individuals, how about Ace Austin, the freshman who continues to impact the game in so many different ways?
Yeah, she really does, has played some really quality minutes and, again, had been in a situation where she hadn't felt great, but I thought she has really gotten feeling better, really gotten to moving better with her foot, just has had a lot going on, but has continued to play her best basketball. Practice minutes have been great. She continues to learn system, continues with her decision making on who, what, when, where. And that's a process. And she's done a really good job with that on both sides of the ball. And I know we continue to need her productivity.
So as you get ready for this weekend on the road, first against Georgia and then LSU on Sunday, what's been the focus in practice? Any areas of cleanup or anything like that getting ready for Thursday?
Well, I think, again, it's a team that you got to defend the glass. So continuing to work on box outs, continuing to go harder to the offensive glass. We've got to create more than 6 offensive rebounds at Georgia to give ourselves a chance. We had 6 against Mississippi State. It's a league where you've got to go in and have some toughness defensively and play without the foul. and give them one-shot opportunities. Danielle Carnegie is this dynamic, tremendous portal pickup, and she's really, really good. And, was SEC Player of the Week. So our attention, and we've got to play lockdown on her and then really do a great job of defending around her from the inside out. They play 3 different 5 players and rotate. So having Naomi and Essence both, I think, are going to be critical. So we've got to defend from the 5 to Carnegie and do a really nice job of defending the glass.
Do you feel like your team's ready to embrace the challenge of playing on the road in such high-profile matchups like we have this week with Georgia and LSU?
Yeah, I think, the thing is, you don't make any more, any less. I mean, we'll go in and we'll be prepared. I've loved their practice and their approach. I think they understand the urgency this time of year, and I think they understand the situation. It's just like on the floor, a time scoring situation. It's the same thing with each and every game this time of year. There has to be an urgency. There has to be a togetherness. And again, I think we will embrace the opportunity. Sometimes, as a coach, I love taking this team on the road. I think the distractions and maybe sometimes on the road, it might not be a bad thing right now to head back on the road and try to build from what we didn't have a great week before at Auburn, and learn from it and know that we have to be better at Georgia.
It's a great challenge coming up for Alabama against Georgia on Thursday. Coach, thank you for your time. Best of luck this week. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Fans, there's no better way to experience Alabama basketball than with our live basketball booth cams presented by NASCAR. Streaming live during all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this season, you'll get a front row seat to all the great reactions from our radio crew as the big plays happen for the Crimson Tide. Make sure you follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at UA_CTSN, especially subscribe on YouTube. That way you won't miss a single basketball booth cam this season. Again, presented by NASCAR for all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this year.
Go Holloway, a deep 3, bottom. Mercy from 30 feet out, dead on. Holloway with 25, and Bama leads it by 14.
Hi, I'm Carly Weathers, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Our basketball booth cam presented by NASCAR is always streaming live during our men's and women's basketball home games at the Capstone. And on Tuesday night, we had a lot of fun as Alabama played some great defense, scored a lot of points on offense, picking up a 90-64 win against Missouri. Here's Chris Stewart and Brian Passink with our booth cam highlights from men's basketball's win against the Tigers.
Long rebound, though, goes to Reitzel. Around we go to Holloway. Steps right, shoots a 3. Welcome back. Aiden Holloway buries the bank first 3, the first bucket of the game. Dishes far side, Phylon. LeBaron will drive to the elbow. Again, a defender stops his progress. Phylon now stepping back for 3, bottom. Boy, got rhythm and looked really good, knocking home that bank first 3-pointer.
Was able to step back. He's worked so hard on that shot.
LeBaron plays off the screen. He's held, no whistle. Jemison, corner 3, bottom. Before intermission, as Reitzel has it, right of the circle, fakes the 3, steps to the top of the arc, bottom. Knocks home another bank first 3. The Tide cooking from beyond the arc. 7 of 17 now from 3-point range in this opening half, and their biggest lead now at 9 points. It's batted around and claimed by Bowen, but credit Millette on that last defensive stand. The lob to the big fella who throws it home. Bediako on the receiving end of a great pass from Phylon. Another timeout called by Missouri.
Alabama was struggling on the offensive end, but the last few minutes have gone the way of the Tide. A 13-2 run in about 2.5 minutes.
Back to Sherrell, who dribbles to his right a couple of times. Hands it off to Holloway. Little Aiden kicking it over to Phylon for 3. Bottom. Bama ripping the nets from deep. And the student section awesome. Keeping up with it for him. And he finally makes one, ending the 0 for 6.
I would chant 1 for 7. The next time he goes to the line, that's not a whole lot better.
Pretty good from Crimson Chaos. Crimson Tide bringing it ahead, up 11, 55-44. Reitzel, 3, bottom. Latrell Reitzel Jr., Aiden throws it over. Reitzel, 3, bottom. Great to see Latrell heat up, and timeout called by Dennis Gates in Mizzou. And then Reitzel steals it back for Bama. Latrell leaving it for Millette. Houston back to Latrell. Thought about a 3, now gives it off Phylon. One more to Jemison. Back to Phylon. Around to Millette. Fittingly. Reitzel for three. Bottom. It's where it all started.
That's a thing of beauty. Such good ball movement by Alabama. We just talked about how unselfish this team was.
He'll fire it ahead to Millette. Houston on the drive. Swings it to Reitzel. One more time. Bottom. Red, smoking, hot. Latrell Reitzel. Timeout, Missouri. That's the last for Dennis Gates. Jemison leaving it for Murphy, who gets into the lane and kicks it out to Millette. Houston again for three. Bottom. Rebound. Diving for it, literally, and sliding out of bounds was Houston Millette. He doesn't care that we're up 29 with 1:20 to go. He's getting after it. Millette will leave the game to the appreciation of head coach Nate Oates for his effort, as coming in to replace him will be Jacob Martin, the freshman from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 6'10", 225.
That's leadership by Houston Millette. Up 29, you haven't shot the ball well, haven't played your best game, but diving on the floor for a loose ball in this situation with just over a minute to play.
He'll get into the paint, he'll slip, he'll get it blocked by Martin, but picked up and thrown down by Trent Burns. Final bucket of the game, final shot of the game, as the final seconds tick off. And if you're ever going to play the song in league play, we're playing it now. To 64, the Tide rolls to the 26-point win. More importantly, improving to 4-3 in the league. Alabama now sitting at 14-6 overall. The Tigers are 14-7. They have a 4-4 SEC mark.
I'm Bray Hubbard. You're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Now it's time to take a look at our upcoming schedule here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, starting with tonight, women's basketball. Yes, the Crimson Tide women's basketball team at Georgia. 5:15 will be the airtime across the network. I look forward to being in Athens on the call for that matchup. And then on Sunday, it'll be a very busy day with men's and women's basketball essentially playing at the same time. Women's basketball will start an hour earlier at 11 a.m. Central. Our coverage starts at 10:45 for Alabama against the LSU Tigers. Then the men's basketball showdown with the defending national champs, the Florida Gators, down at the O'Connell Center. Can't wait for that ball game. That's going to be an 11 a.m. airtime for the noon tip-off. Then Nate Oates will recount everything with Chris Stewart the next night on Hey Coach. Baumhauer's Victory Grill at 6 p.m. Also, Rob Vaughn will preview baseball. We'll have our conversation with Patrick Murphy from softball. He joined Chris for Hey Coach this past week. We'll show that to you on Tuesday's Crimson Drive. And then Coach Vaughn after that is next week. We'll start talking about softball opening week, baseball opening week after that. It's an exciting time here at the Capstone. Make sure you follow us at UA_CTSN for all the latest on Crimson Tide Sports, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Go ahead, hit subscribe, turn notifications on so you won't miss anything from the Crimson Tide Sports Network. It's going to wrap up this busy Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to our guests, Kristy Curry, Luisa Blanco, and especially at the beginning of the show, Aiden Sherrell, for joining us at our podcast studio at the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center, talking about everything Alabama basketball. We appreciate the hard work of Ethan Caravan. He put all these interviews and clips together, puts together the entire show that you see here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. So a tip of the cap to our producer, Ethan, on this Thursday afternoon. For all of us, this is Roger Hoover saying thanks for watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Let's enjoy a good weekend of Alabama athletics. Roll Tide, everyone.